Good morning. Please take your seats as we welcome to the podium NLN CEO Dr. Beverly Malone.
Thank you. Starlight, star bright. First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have the dream I dreamed today. 2020 has been declared by the World Health Organization, WHO, as the year of the nurse and the midwife. 2020 also celebrates the 200th anniversary of the birth of Florence Nightingale. Nurse, innovator, dreamer, reformer, and leader of improved healthcare. Today, September 27th, is the time to get prepared to make a difference and celebrate the gift of nursing here in the United States and around the world. It's time for all the dreamers to be announced, presented, and declared significant to the profession of nursing. To those of us who have chosen nursing education as our way of giving to our patients through our students. What an honor it is to be a nurse educator. What an honor it is to be a nurse. And I know I'm a nurse who is a dreamer too. The National League for Nursing's mission is to promote excellence in nursing education, to build a strong and diverse nursing workforce, to advance the health of the nation and the global community. Missions are always dreams executed strategically with purpose, power, and passion. The NLN today inherited its mission from the co-creators of the NLN 126 years ago. These were nurses who dared to dream in daylight, nurses who challenged the status quo and the view men held of women, the view doctors had of nurses, and eventually even the view whites had of blacks. We are building the NLN and implementing its mission guided by 4 dynamic and integrated core values that permeate the organization and are reflected in everything we do. I know I started speaking of the august WHO that sits near Lake Geneva, Switzerland, one of the most beautiful places in the world. And its declaration that 2020, only 3 months away, will be the year of the nurse and the midwife. So all the dreamers here today need to report for duty. We've got a lot to accomplish before 2020 rolls in. Amazingly, it's not only the year of the nurse and midwife and Florence's 200th birthday in these United States, it's also Nursing Now. Oh, and it's also the next step toward the future of nursing, only this one is from 2020 to 2030. You must remember, let me take you back, the first report was released in 2010, sponsored by the Institute of Medicine, at that time called IOM, in collaboration with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. It was titled, The Future of Nursing, Leading Change, Advancing Health, and was chaired by one of my earlier bosses, who was Secretary of Health and Human Services for 8 years during the Clinton administration, Dr. Donna Shalala, who is now a Congresswoman, Representative Shalala from Florida. She always ran a tight ship. And with the appointment of Dr. Susan Hassmiller from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation as the IOM Senior Scholar in Residence, This visionary report primarily recommended that nurses practice to the full extent of our education and preparation. Yes. Develop a restructured system of academic progression to higher levels and practice with full partnerships with physicians and other clinicians. Out of this grew AARP's Center to Champion Nursing in America, with the continued support of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and a clear goal of implementing at the state level the report's recommendations. Now, facing 2020, the dreamers are at it again. Chaired this time by Dr. Mary Wakefield and anchored as before by Dr. Susan Hassmiller, serving as senior scholar in residence to the president of NAM, formerly the IOM. They are moving forward to develop a new report, The Future of Nursing 2020 to 2030. We already know that diversity and inclusion, along with climate and the environment, will become major players in the next report. Living and receiving care at home by colleagues who are well-prepared nurses, which include LPN aide, LVNs, as well as others in the caregiving community. And the dreamers will motivate and incentivize others, waking them up to the possibilities that only dreaming offers. This is wide awake dreaming. For example, one of my baby sisters, I'm the oldest of 7, so I got quite a few, would call me late at night or early morning. Once she called to tell me about a commercial she had seen on TV. She told the story this way: an exhausted, bedraggled woman in a house coat that should have been thrown away years ago and a scarf wrapped around her head stumbles to the kitchen in the dark, opens the refrigerator, and pulls out a dead rubberneck chicken. She looks at that chicken and she says, "Wake up." My sister said it was a commercial for Accent. You know, you pour it on the meat and you wake it up. And she laughed a long time. And I have to admit that it was infectious, and I started laughing too. Colleagues, we must be in the business of waking up our fellow nurses who are sleeping through the incredible possibilities that only daytime dreaming brings. Pour some accent on your colleagues when you return to workplace. In fact, pour some accent on the person sitting next to you. It's time to dream for our future. There is a challenging component to implementing these 2020 dreams. There are so many different major actions happening for 2020. Since we have 3 months before we begin the 2020 calendar, I thought it would be a good time to practice identifying, separating, and then connecting as needed to the various initiatives. One of my dreams is for you to leave the summit with a clear picture of the major 2020 nursing initiatives, both international and national. So, let me begin with where we started, except this time with a diagram. WHO, the only World Health Organization, declared 2020 as the year of the nurse and midwife. This is the umbrella of possibilities that covers the entire year for nurses, both globally and nationally. And it also happens to be Florence's birthday, a lovely confluence of events that provides an opportunity for countries that are infrequently at the top of their ministers of health list with no resolutions highlighting nurses and midwives. The International Nursing Now is like the North Star, burning bright, inviting nurses worldwide to be involved in leadership, mentoring, and academic progression for the next generation of nurses. This is ideal work for nurse educators. This is what we specialize in, to make a difference in the careers and lives of other nurses. With the overall umbrella of 2020, you got the umbrella? The year of the nurse and the midwife, followed by Florence's birthday. The next major event is the International Nursing Now, co-chaired by Lord Nigel Crisp, a colleague of mine from my days of working in the United Kingdom when I was the General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing. Lord Crisp has a sincere respect and desire to elevate nursing with his understanding that nursing makes the world of healthcare go round. I was always impressed by his commitment to minority nurses in England and his goal of inclusivity. He brings this perspective of social determinants of health to the celebration of 2020. Presently, he is also co-chair of the UK All-Party Parliamentary Group on Global Health. He is joined by Professor Sheila Toulouse as co-chair. You might remember Professor Sheila Toulouse because she's hard to forget. She is one of the NLN's extraordinary past keynote speakers from the recent times. She also serves as co-chair of the Global HIV Prevention Coalition. You have the option to identify countries that extend from International Now initiative. On their website, you can choose which country you would like to examine. For today, let's go directly to the United States of America. The American Nurses Association, ANA, is the national nursing organization of the International Council of Nursing. There is only one nursing organization per country. There can only be one. And the ANA has historically represented our country. With ANA President Ernest Grant providing leadership, the NLN is demonstrating our strong commitment to this effort. We are giving $10,000 to USA Nursing Now 2020. Now, this is to help provide the resources for having an outstanding historical year of celebration. If you are a member of the NLN, you are already engaged, vibrant participant in Nursing Now. If you are not a member, encourage your school to join, or you can join on an individual basis. The other leaders in USA Nursing Now are Dr. Nina Paragallo-Montano, Dean of the School of Nursing at Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina, Azita Imami, Executive Dean, and Butch DeCastro, Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the University of Washington State School of Nursing, and USA Public Health Chief Nurse Officer, Rear Admiral Susan Ortega. These four organizations and their outstanding leadership are providing the critical way forward necessary to place the USA Nursing Now at the front of Congress's agenda and as meaningful 2020 work for every nurse in America. Colleagues, we are not finished yet. If you look to the right, if you would show my diagram again, if you look to the right on the slide, you will see, supported by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and IOM, now known as the National Academy of Medicine, the new Committee on the Future of Nursing 2020-2030. This truly accelerates the importance and celebration of 2020. Co-chaired by one of our former keynote speakers, Dr. Mary Wakefield, and anchored by Dr. Susan Hassmiller, who I mentioned earlier, they have begun a series of regional town hall meetings with webcast availability in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Seattle. They launched the beginnings of this important second report in Washington, D.C. NLN President Alexander spoke eloquently to the issues of nursing education across the entire spectrum of types of nursing programs, being identified as the only speaker to reference the contributions of LPNs and LVNs. 2020 is truly the year of the North Star, and we will be guided by our purpose, power, and passion to let the world know of the contributions of nursing and nursing education. If you look at the diagram just one more time, at the very bottom, you will see a link. The link will take you to a place you want to go, a place where you can give to this wonderful, wonderful 2020 year of all the happenings. At the NLN, we know that our purpose is our mission, promoting excellence in nursing education, to build a strong and diverse nursing workforce, to advance the health of the nation and the global community. And I don't mind if you memorize it so you can say it before you leave. At the NLN, we know that our power is in the minds and hands of our members. The evidence resides in you who have chosen to be with us at this 2019 summit. Together, we have the power to move the system of healthcare from point A to point B, making sure that the people we serve receive quality care, making sure that our nurses and other providers and looking out for our patients' well-being while providing opportunities to secure the well-being of nurses. We know, don't we, that patients need a safe place to heal, and nurses need a safe place to work, are simply two sides of the same coin. It's important to extend that model to the students we so diligently teach. We need to provide models of communication and caring as we bring innovation that is co-created with daring ingenuity into the classroom. And finally, but never lastly, we follow the North Star with passion, with our hearts and values of caring, integrity, and diversity, with inclusion leading to excellence, with our differences visible and vibrant. We move forward in the creative beauty of our country with determination and steadiness of feeling inside the opportunities while demonstrating our gift of healing, our beloved nursing profession. Let me close, I'm closing again, with these words that reflect all of our values. For without diversity and inclusion, how can caring, integrity, and excellence even exist? Words to live by. The next man sitting around the fire saw one not of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. A poor man sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be used to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of all he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from sight. All he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did nothing except for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. the logs held tight in death-still hands was proof of human sin, they didn't die from the cold without. They died from the cold within. Remember, our passion is from the inside. We are nurse educators, following the North Star with purpose, power, and passion. Thank you.